So the gardening season's really kicking in. It's April and I'm going to do a little bit of planting. As you can see, I bought some wisteria. I bought two actually. Quite a few years ago I planted two espalier apple trees and they simply don't like where they're sited. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the two apple trees out and plant the wisteria there instead. Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do is chop them down and dig them out. Whenever I take an old plant out, I always find it quite sad actually. I don't know why. But anyway, here we go. There we go. Quite well established, hence the difficulty in taking them out. So the easiest way is simply to cut through some of the thicker roots. There you go. And there we go. And that's the second one. As always, before I take this plant out of its pot, I always water it in, and it just allows the roots to break free that much easier. So it gives a good soaking. Okay, well that's raining down. I'm going to give this hole here, which again is twice as big as this pot here. It's a good soaking in. There you go. And hopefully it should come out quite easily. There you go. There we go. There we are. So it's not pot bound. So I'll just break the roots free gently. There we go. Just allow it to root in to its new environment. There we are. put that down there. That's it. There we go. And backfill the hole. Let me just look at that again. Needs to go slightly to my right. Okay. Just there. That's it. Okay. And gently backfill. Quite a good soil around here because over the years I've put composted manure and just straight general purpose compost, so the soil's quite good. I wouldn't call it loam, it is clay based, but as you can see, just the roots from the apple tree. As you can see, the soil's quite good, and quite a lot of nutrients in there. One thing I do need to do over the coming week is to give the garden, sorry about that, to give the garden a good de-weeding, and that's what I'll be doing over this Easter week. And there we are, another one, job done. On a separate note, I wonder if any of you can help me. I've got a rhododendron here, and the leaves are just wilted all summer and all winter. It's well watered. I've given an appropriate feed, an acidic feed, a rhododendron feed, and as you can see, the leaves are wilted. I treated it over the summer for weevil. I poured a substance on it, I followed the instructions, and that hasn't helped. There are signs in one or two of the leaves. Pull this one off. It has been attacked by an insect, but not massively, so I don't know what's causing it to wilt. If there's any gardeners out there who can help me as to what's wrong with it, just look at it. I have no idea what's wrong with it whatsoever. But yeah, if you've got any tips, advice, please add to the comments. That probably gives you a better view of some of the leaves, how badly they've drooped or wilted. As you can see, some of the buds are ready to flower over the next week, I suspect, but the leaves are in a pretty poor state. Okay, we've got Tony here, and he's got an eBay sales channel for koi. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Tony?
Yeah, I'm here currently at Alex's pond right now, looking down. I just bought two koi, nice size koi. One was a kashiki and one was a shower. I import koi direct from Japan. They come in, we quarantine them as normal, and then for 6 weeks, 5 to 6 week touch, and then we ship them out as to whoever wants to buy them. Our channel's on eBay. It's British Japanese koi. We have all different varieties from all sizes, 7 centimetre right the way up to 35, 40 cms. I don't like sending out too big a fish other than that, because obviously, especially if you're posting. And yeah, that's about me really. We just import them and bring them in and sell them out to you. So
how long have you been doing it now, Tony?
We've been doing it now probably about 15 years. I've really got into it big time. I say we've just had 2 shipments now. So yesterday was 250 came in, and then Thursday at Heathrow picking up another 250 come straight in. So they go straight out. It's been quarantined. But yeah, it's great. It's just you start off with a little tiny pond or a water feature, whichever you maybe a few goldfish. Then you go into your koi, and the next thing, here you are with a fully fledged pond, and then you become very selective. And that's the key. That's what always happens.
That's what's happened to me. I mean, initially I just bought koi. I didn't really go into the detail of the koi, but the more you get koi, you start to see the finer details, and you want it better and better, and it becomes quite addictive.
But this is it. The quality. You just constantly looking at quality. General Joe public, they don't mind. They just want colours, and that's all they want.
Well, that's how I started.
Exactly.
It really is.
But fish do change constantly, as you know. You can buy a small toesai that's stunning to start with, but then the colour splits, the summy goes, and so yeah, everyone's different. It's what your preference is really, and obviously your budget, because everyone's koi not so cheap. They're not cheap to get into the country, so especially now. Well,
I have to say, I mean, from what I've seen on your channel, I mean, at the end of the day, koi can be as expensive as you were prepared to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
But what Tony's channel I've seen on there, most of the koi there are affordable.
Yeah.
And when I saw this on eBay, I thought, I've never bought off eBay before, Tony.
Really?
It's been a pleasure dealing with you, I've got to say that, because it's been really easy, simple.
Yeah. That's what I say. I mean, we don't just do fish either, we do all filtration systems, do everything. I do massive filter systems, so they'll come up with my own personal systems at home. Because we moved from Kent up to Lincolnshire, so we're not too distant. But yeah, so we've got to start it all again, just transferring everything.
Well,
so
how difficult was that?
Quite difficult, but it's just the fact of you've got to deal with your pet shop licence, all that sort of stuff, and that takes time because obviously you cease one to take another one.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you move areas, that's it, you've got to have another licence. But it's all in-house, all done and dusted now, so we're...
I didn't realise that. I thought once you got your pet shop owner's licence, that was it.
No, because the premises are different, and that's the thing, they want to know how many tanks you've got, vats, whichever you want to call them, ponds, all this sort of stuff. They have to look into all of it. So if you said on your application form that you've got 8 vats, or 8 ponds, whichever you want to call them, then that's what they expect to come and see. So you can't just suddenly go from 8 to 16 for argument's sake.
So starting completely from scratch.
Yeah, you have to notify them all times, and we do. We like to be transparent all the way through it, because I don't want them coming round and just because they can just do spot checks. And now they've changed the licensing anyway, because obviously it's now on stars, so you get your 5 stars. If you're first starting out, normally they give you about 4 stars.
So where are you?
5-star now. Because obviously, as soon as you've done 3 years, 4 years, that's it. It's I think it's 3 years it was for 4 stars, and then we transferred up to 5 stars. That's it then. So because you've got to keep all your records now. There's so many records to keep now. It's not just about quarantining and then sending fish out, etc. It's all about paperwork now. It's an audit trail constantly. And well, of course, I'll do this, and then I'll have to fit my other job in at the same time as well. So we're quite busy.
Yeah. Have you got a business card on you?
No,
so I've seen one on the eBay.
Yeah, it's in my van. I can send them out.
No, it's okay. What I'll do...
screenshot it and then it's fine.
Yeah, well, what I can do on this anyway, I can get it off the eBay, and I'll put a link in at the end of this video anyway for anyone who's interested in dealing with Tony.
Yeah, our website is currently static at the moment because we didn't have no of the fish now. We've got rid of all the fish, and now we're getting them all back in again. So the internet's being revamped now because obviously we moved. Yeah. So the BritishJapaneseKoi.com will be back active shortly. So, but there'll be loads of fish on there, so everyone can do what they want. We'll just send them out. They're welcome to visit as well. We visit, so the people can come round. Set up my house, so it's fine. But we're looking now at another premises where we are. So I had premises before.
Okay.
But we're looking at other premises now because obviously I can have more fish then and bigger fish.
Okay, anyway, so thanks very much anyway, Tony. It's been great dealing with you, and what we're going to do over the next couple of hours is let these acclimatise, the 2 fish, and then we'll pull them out and hopefully put them in the pond. We can't see a great deal here. That's a gashiki, or goshki, depending how you want to pronounce it. And there we have it, the shower. He's keeling over. Hope that's not too bad.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's a bit cold.
Yeah. It's about 8 degrees in there.
Yeah, okay.
And we've not floated him ever, so it's
Okay. Anyway, back to the shiki and the shower, and I think it's time to put them into the pond and let's see how they react. That's the box we came into, so thank you, Tony. Nice character, good guy. I hope you do a little bit of business with him. He seems quite reasonable to deal with, and I will certainly think about dealing with him in the future. So there they are, a shower and a gashiki or goski, depending how you want to pronounce it. They are a little bit stressed at the minute, as you can see, hence the dorsals are lying a little bit flat. I think the water parameters are slightly different to what they were inside the bag. My water parameters are around about 6.8 pH. I believe the other pH was a little bit over 7, I'd like to believe. So that's going to affect the skin colour at the minute, I think. But after a couple of days, I hope they'll start to brighten up again as they get used to the parameters. So I'm not going to try and tip this water in there. Most of it is pond water, but there's still just a little bit of the water that came in the bags, and I don't particularly want to put that in the pond. So I'm going to try and draw the fish out without unnecessarily scaring them. Okay, just guide them out. Difficult. That's the shower. And there's the gashiki. Okay, they've settled down on the bottom. Quite unsure of their surroundings at the moment, but I'm sure they'll settle in. I think they're looking at the other koi in the pond, which in some cases are twice as big as them. Okay, I think they're slowly going over just to investigate. They've been in there now for about 5 minutes. So there we have it. It's starting to mix with the other koi. Bear in mind the largest one, which is the gashiki, you can see him in the middle there, is 39 centimetres. So that should give you an indicator of just how big the others are. If you look at that Sankey there, it's almost like a platinum. He's got to be a good, looking at 30, a good 70 centimetres. Got a good girth on him. Actually, I quite like the shape. It's just a pity about his colours. He's lost his sumi, certainly lost his benny to the best part. So I suspect he's just going to be a Ginrin platinum Ogun in the end of it. So all his colours are just about disappearing. There's the other one. He's got to be good 80 centimetres now. I'll have to measure them, I don't know. Between 70 and 80. But he used to be a Sankey. He's a dappled one. He's the largest fish there, bang in the middle. And I suspect he's got hikui. If you look at his nose, I have mentioned it in the past. It's like bruised, and I've pulled him out a couple of years ago. Because at first I thought they were ulcers. They're not ulcers, it's just, I can't explain it. They're not colours coming through or anything. It's almost like a bruise. So the best I can come up with, at least as an amateur, is that it's a kui. but it doesn't seem to affect him health-wise. He certainly eats, and he's growing. It's just unsightly. The only issue I can see with both fish is they have a touch of Corkbox just on their tail fin. Not much. Now, I'm not overly bothered about that. Bearing in mind that last year, in 2022, spring, that 50% of my koi suffered from Corkbox. To be quite frank, quite extensively, but that was due to me turning the amalgam UV off and the standard UV bulb off. So there's any little bit of bacteria in the water affected the fish, and I know Corkbox is more of a virus rather than a bacterial infection, but nonetheless I feel that the amalgam lamps do help to a certain degree to eliminate Corkbox. That could be untrue, but certainly when I keep both of my lamps on, the incidence of Corkbox diminishes, and that's through my own experience. So coincidental maybe, I don't know. So anyway, both new fish, both the shower and the gashiki, got a touch of Corkbox just on the tails, but I'm not overly worried about it. Certainly not with spring kicking in, and within next month the temperatures should have risen quite a bit, in which case Corkbox should all but disappear. There we go. There's a gashiki. Whoops. Still getting used to the water, I think. The parameters, certainly the pH levels, probably half degree, at least half degree different to what he was used to. From the pond to the garden. So, this is a whipping willow, a twisted whipping willow. What I did a few years back, I planted some brack and some fern just all the way around here, just to give it a bit of character. Unfortunately, what I found out is that it's taken all the moisture from the base of the tree itself, and certainly last year it affected the growth of the leaves. So you can see here, it's all died back, and I'm certainly putting it down to the ferns. So I'm going to dig them out, give it a good feed, the tree that is, and then put some compost all the way around it. So I've already pretty much dug them out, but there you are. They're quite well developed, and that will just suck the moisture out of this tree. So I'm getting rid of them. So like I say, I'm going to give it a good feed down here. Let's smooth this out here. There we go. Give it a good feed of general purpose fertiliser and cover it with compost, and hopefully over the next month or two during the summer this will recover. It's the day after I did the garden maintenance, and as you can see I put compost around the base of the willow tree, so let's hope that improves things. I've tidied the rest of the top half of the garden up, de-weeded the best I can. including around the pond. The rhododendron's still looking sad, unfortunately. But on a positive note, both the gashiki and the shower are loving life in the new pond. They've both been eating quite well, and that's the main thing. And even what I suspected was Corkbox, it looks as though it's disappeared. So it may be because, as Tony did say, they're in cold water, comparative cold water, around about 8 degrees in the plastic bags, and the pond water's a shade over 9 at the minute, about 9.5 degrees. I do apologise for the reflections, but I just hope you can see the shower there. And there's the gashiki next to the kajako. And just take a look at that. They're so very, very similar, kajakus and gashikis. But the gashiki has got that fire red to it and a touch of purple beneath its grey or black scales. I hope you can see that. There you go, you can just see the kajaku, much brighter than the gashiki. But that redness in the gashiki should really come out during the summer when I start to feed it growth. And the effects of the whitening JPD takes place. I'd like to say thank you to Tony for personally delivering the koi yesterday, and I will definitely consider purchasing from his eBay shop again. Certainly for those of you who are considering buying some koi, take a look at his koi channel on eBay and I'm sure you will find something there. Anyhow, with that, I'm going to call it a day. So until next time, happy gardening, happy ponding, and happy koi keeping.